Victor Hovland, what an interesting year he's had so far. There have been tournament after tournament where they have been asking Victor Hovland about his swing and his game, and I love him because he is candid. We don't get this a lot from a ton of people in the golf world, just they're trained to be robots. We've had that conversation a million times. Since mid-January, he's kind of had comments about how he thinks he sucks at golf right now, and his swing feels like a disaster just as much as this week, as recently as this week on like Thursday and Friday. They were asking him again about his swing, and he was like, I'm looking up, and the ball is not coming out even close to the window that I'm looking up and expecting that ball to be coming out of. He won this week. He went out there on like the hardest course on the PGA Tour. We got JT who's trending in the right direction. Nico was up there. All kinds of great players playing good golf. Hovland feels like he's playing terrible, and he went out there and still was just able to get it done. I give him a ton of credit for saying afterwards, like, look, the ball kind of like everything that I needed to go kind of right went right, even when I felt like I was hitting it kind of shitty and ended up in totally fine spots. And then when I did think I was hitting my irons pretty well, I was able to hit it really close and make all the putts. So he's able to get the win out there. But what an interesting game that he had missed 3 cuts in a row coming into this. He's had 6 different coaches, 6 in the last year to get him to this point. Still feels like he doesn't really have it. Yet he won at Copperhead, which is an extremely difficult golf course this last weekend.
That's where it's like, we've been talking a lot about Justin Thomas rounding into shape. Does that even matter? Like Viktor Hovland is the opposite of rounding into shape, and then he wins. It's like that's got to be the most infuriating thing about being like a professional golfer in that position, where you're just like, I think I'm doing the right things and it all feels right, so I should break through at some point. And then you got Viktor Hovland probably sitting in a hotel room like, I don't know where this ball's going, and I just won the tournament. So what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely was upfront about his game was decent enough to compete at certain golf courses, but like when a lot of trouble started to come in, he knew that it wouldn't be sustainable. So he's like, you play a place like the Players where the wind is whipping, you hit the trees, you can find yourself with water. Like, I just don't feel comfortable there. There's other courses that I feel like I can just hit it and I'll be okay. Obviously things started to tighten up for him in terms of his game and what he was feeling, because he was able to kind of come down, make all the, the shots that he needed to make and secure the victory. But I wonder where his headspace is right now. I didn't really listen to any post round interviews of him, but like where he sits now as opposed to pre-tournament, when he was kind of like pretty not knowing where his game was at. Cause like you get a win, he still might be in that headset of being like, yeah, well, I'm still getting lucky. Like if I play a tighter
pretty
course,
much
I'm a
what
nightmare.
he said. Pretty much what he said. He goes, I hit a lot of disgusting shots, but they happen to go where I look. And then when my iron game, I can still hit good shots, but I know that there's some bad ones creeping in there. But somehow this week, I was just able to hit the good shots that I can hit more often than I have in the recent weeks. But it's still the same tendencies, and there's still some of those high rights out there that I need to work on. But it's unbelievable to see that I could win. I honestly did not believe that I could do it this week.
Wow.
God, if you're Justin Thomas reading that, you're like, God damn it. What a guy.
Totally. And credit, again, to him being that honest afterwards, but that must be demoralizing to some folks. And it does make you think like this is all meaningless. Like, oh, you got to get these reps in. You got to start getting competitive golf reps in. Then you got to get yourself into contention and see how you handle it. And then it's like, guy missed 3 cuts in a row. He's had 6 different coaches, and he goes out there, gets in contention, and just wins. So it's like,
I mean, it could be that he's being unbelievably hard on himself to the point of like delusion. Like
maybe
this could be like a cocky way of being like, I could be even better. It's like you just won a PGA Tour event, and you're like kind of giving off the fact that like you had your D game, where it's like at the end of the day, this might just be it, brother. I don't know what to like. I know you think you could play better. I know it's not going exactly where you think so. And he's being completely honest. Like the ball's not going where he wants it to go. He's getting these high rights. He could be better. It's like, I know, but can it? At some point, it's like there might be a sliver of delusion in there. There could be. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it was like a couple of years ago is when he was the best player in the world. He won the FedEx Cup. Remember that? He won all that going into the Ryder Cup. He was like unstoppable. And the reason I thought this could be a really interesting conversation is because it's a miniature version of the Tiger Woods conversation of like Tiger in 2000 changed his swing to that point where from late 1999 through like 2002, he played like the best golf that's ever been played. He had the Tiger Slam. He won the U.S. Open by 15. He won the Open Championship at the St. Andrews by 8. He won everything. And then he has since then multiple times decided to like change his swing, change his game. And it's a double-edged sword because it's like on one end, what always made Tiger so able to kind of stay focused, stay entertained, stay driven, like stay sort of like, you know, with his brain activated on trying to be the best was tweaking stuff, not just like maintaining. It was like trying to chase this greatness. And one of the other quotes I pulled from Viktor Hovland was where he said, I've always tried to push myself. And even when it was really good, I kept on pushing and maybe set too high expectations, which is exactly what Frankie was just saying, because maybe I didn't realize how good it was, or I thought it could continue to get better and better and better. And he goes, for the most part of my career, every decision that I've made to change something up in order to play better, it has worked. And then goes on to say, like, except for this one. It's like, now I've gotten kind of worse. And then he talks about the process of trying to get back to some of your old patterns and how hard that could be. So I just think there's incredible parallels between like Hovland is this, again, kind of interesting cat. He's always curious about the world. I'm sure he's always curious about the golf swing, golf game, how he could get better. And that could be such a detriment to like, okay, if you got to the point where you're better than everyone else, which is really, really, really good golf, can you just maintain that for another 15 years and be the most dominant player ever? Or do you have to kind of constantly chase how you can be better, which is what I think, we all agree Tiger did. Whereas if he would have just been like, okay, I'm unbelievably good. If I just stay this unbelievably good and healthy for the next 15 years, I'll win 30 majors. But then he maybe wouldn't have been as engaged and would have been like, screw this. I'm going to go be a Navy SEAL, which is kind of what happens. So it's like, it's a very tricky spot for these guys at the top. And I think Viktor Hovland found himself in that spot,
Yeah, you need that fire. You need to always like say, I can get better. I get that. It's just hard to hear after a win. It's like putting myself in the mindset of the rest of the field where you're kind of sitting in your car talking with your buddies. You're Justin Thomas. You're one of these other guys. And you're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like they get what he's saying. Everyone knows what he kind of means, but just playing devil's advocate a little bit where it's like, come on. Almost won the thing.
7 wins for Viktor Hovland, man. 7 wins.